Greetings and welcome back to another episode of Jalen's Jumpstart with yours truly, where we talk anything and everything sports media. I'm glad to return to share more stories with you after a little break that I had. Joining me for conversation today is a former student athlete, podcaster, and producer. He currently serves as a researcher for ESPN. He's also a Houston, Texas native. I give you Ryan Leatch. So first thing I want to touch on is where does your passion for sports journalism really stem from?
Man, I would say ever since I was young, I've always been around sports. Like I grew up playing basketball, grew up hooping every day, and I played college basketball. And then that's when reality finally hits you. I'm like, I ain't going pro, you know what I'm saying? I ain't finna do anything else. I was like, it's time to really start thinking of what's the next step, what's the next move. So then I was a econ major my first freshman year. And yeah, that was hard. You know what I'm saying? I got in there. I'm like, yo, macroeconomics, I was like, oh no. I was like, I can't do none of this stuff. And my coach was like, how about we switch you to a communications major? And then no, it was like communications was like the main department, but then you pick from there. And he said it because at our school, that's the easiest major to do. And he wants all his athletes, to get the highest GPA possible, stay eligible. So he was like, you do this major. And then I was just like, all right. And then I got in there and I just ended up doing mass media broadcasting journalism. And I just kind of fell in love with it. It was
Nice.
like I was on Adobe Premiere Pro, I was editing, I was doing interviews. Like it was a small school, so they let you do everything around the newsroom. So I started editing videos, I started interviewing people, and then plus my love of sports, I was like, I can intertwine these two, and that's really just how it popped off from there. So then I started applying to the ESPN Next program, started my own podcast, and then it just kind of evolved from there. So I would say that's really where it stemmed from.
You and I, we have such similar roles. Like
Hmm.
I found out like in high school, I wanted nothing to do with math or anything in STEM.
Hmm.
Science
Yeah.
was cool, but I was like, once I got to geometry, Ryan, I felt like
Oh yeah.
I was cooked. I was like, algebra is okay, but then whenever you get to geometry, you're like, no, thank you. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like my mom told me about this sports. I mean, not a sports class, a journalism writing class. I took like
Mm,
my junior year, and I fell in love with it. And then I also have my love for sports. So
for sure.
that was great. I want to know now, how exactly did you land your role whenever you started applying for different roles in ESPN? Like, give me a little background of your story.
For sure, bro. Man, long story, long path for sure, but I'll make it short as possible. So, like you said, a lot of like I was saying, I tried to get to ESPN. It started, I would say, my sophomore and junior year. So I
Hmm.
started applying for the ESPN Next program. So I think I applied my junior year. I applied, didn't get it. I applied for the spring one, didn't get it. The winter one, didn't get it. Then after my senior year, I was even trying to get there. I didn't get it. So then I graduated May 2021, but I had no intern experience. When you're an athlete, that's your job. It's like you can't really do anything else besides just play or practice, all of that.
Yeah.
So I graduated May 2021, moved back to the crib, moved back to Houston. I went to school in Oklahoma City. So now I moved back to Houston. And then same thing, I was just churning, trying to apply, trying to find things. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't find nothing. Nobody would hire me. So then my mom was like, how about you apply to the Disney internship program? Because Disney owns ESPN. They're like, get in through Disney, make yourself an internal candidate, and work your way in through there. And I was like, okay. So I'm not sure. Have you heard of the DCP, the Disney College Program?
A little bit. I know Disney has the connection with ESPN
Hmm.
for the longest time. And so I'm guessing that was like that paved the way or
Yeah, yeah. So I said I said that to say it sounds cool. It sounds like, oh, the Disney College Program. Man, that thing ain't no joke. Basically, I don't want to say I'm not because they did honest. They're like, hey, you're gonna work at the parks, and then we'll have different panels and things you could do. But
yeah.
I was probably working 45 plus hours at the park. So everybody has their different roles. So basically, long story short, the Disney College Program is basically you work for Disney, you work for Walt Disney, and you
Hmm.
either work at the parks or you work at the resorts, and they have a plethora of different jobs. As some people they custodians. They are literally interns and they picking up trash. You know what I'm saying? Some people do that. Some people are the have you been to Disney before?
Oh, all the growing
Yeah.
up, Disney World, Orlando, I was at all.
Yeah. They got some people who work the rides. A lot of
Yeah,
those are interns. They got some people
Bonnet
who,
Creek,
huh?
Bonnet Creek.
What's that?
That was one of the resorts there that I would always stay at, but
Oh,
I
one
just
of the
never stayed
resorts?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
what is it called?
Bonnet Creek. It's a Wyndham resort.
Oh, okay. And that's at Disney World? I heard of that.
Mhm.
Okay. So they got yeah, some people work the rides, some people do the food, they got people cooking.
Yeah.
You know them people who roll out, it's something that they do with the food. Yeah, they got some cooks, some people work the registers. Basically it's any role at the Disney World. I was a lifeguard. So I would work in the resorts. So you heard of All-Star Resorts, you heard of All-Star
Yeah.
yeah, I would work at the All-Star Resorts and other ones like a Magic Kingdom, our Animal Kingdom, Coronado. Uh, it was a few other ones that I did, and I was just a lifeguard there.
Hmm.
So basically, you would be out in that hot sun all day. Like this is Orlando, bro, and I'm from Houston. And I tell
Humid.
people, Florida's sun is different than the Texas sun. To me,
Hmm.
Florida is a little bit more. It's a lot more hotter. Houston's like dry heat. Florida can get real humid and just hot.
Yeah.
So I did that, but I was still doing the other part. So they do offer panels you can go on where you can meet people, you can network. So I was really just doing that. I was really just meeting people, working on my network skills, getting in with people. But at the same time, I'm still trying to get to ESPN. So I
Hmm.
did that for about like 6 months. But the trick was now, when you go on the Disney website, because ESPN jobs are all listed on the Disney website, because like I said, Disney owns ESPN. Now
Yep.
that since you already worked at Disney, you're now labeled as an internal candidate. So now it's like working at NBC and you worked at another, you know what I'm saying, by an internal candidate.
Universal. Yeah.
Yep. So now you're popping up more on top of things. They're like, oh, they already worked here, or they already worked at Disney. So your resume is, your application is moving towards the top. So I started applying again. So I did the Disney internship from like February 2022 to July 2022. Then I moved back home again. And then we got right back to it. Started applying, started doing things like that. But now I got Disney on the resume. So next thing, my mom, she has great ideas, man. Shout out. That's all I give this all to her. She was like, "How about you just DM all the ESPN recruiters?" She was like, "Get LinkedIn because you got to get LinkedIn Premium to DM certain people." She's like,
Yeah.
"Get LinkedIn Premium, DM all the ESPN recruiters." I was like, "All right, might as well." So I DM'd them. Lynn Matthews, I'll never forget her name. She got back to me the next day. I got an interview. Did the interview. They got back to me a couple weeks later. They're like, "You got the job. Can you move up here a month from now?" I'm like, Jesus. I was like, I couldn't even get no interview. I couldn't get nothing for literally like 2, 3 years. I was trying to get there, couldn't get nothing. And DM Lynn Matthews, she got back to me, got my first interview, and I was hired. I was like, wow. All it takes is one opportunity. That's what I tell people all the time.
Hmm.
You
Just
know?
one yes, that's all it takes. We
Yeah.
get so many rejections from these jobs, and I'm at the point now where it never bothers me
Yeah.
because I know like once it takes one yes, once I get that one yes, I don't even have to think about anything else. Uh,
Hmm.
and I loved how you just reached out to them directly. That's
Yeah.
similar to what I had to do to get to where I'm at now. And that's what I want to encourage other people who want to get into this business. I want them to, it's not just about applying, it's really making yourself known to them. Let them know who
Oh
you
yeah.
are, what you have to offer, and things like that. And so now that you're there, I want to know what's your day to day like as a researcher and other roles that you have, and maybe what is something that you've learned about ESPN since you've been there.
For sure. I'm gonna pause it right. I'm gonna turn my light on. It's getting a little dark on the right side.
Okay.
It'll be a little bit better. Yeah. Um, you ready?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my day to day at ESPN, basically as a researcher, you're assigned. You could do two different directions at the job. You're either gonna be what we call somebody who works the shows, or you're gonna be just content. And they kind of flip throughout your stay. Like you might just work a show for a week straight, or you might work the same show for months. You know what I'm saying? It just kind
Hmm.
of flips. So I'll just do the show aspect. Right now, I work on a show called Get Up. The show is 8 in the morning every day, Monday through Friday. I get there at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
So we all meet in this conference room. And then, so the day to day, I'll just give you exactly what I do. So I get in there, we got a meeting at 4 a.m. So then the
Hmm.
meeting at 4 a.m. is just, hey, what do you think is good to go on the show today? Like, let's say it's a Monday show. Monday shows are our busiest show because it comes off of Sunday football. So we
Hmm.
do what stands out to us, and we do this all throughout Sunday too. So we got a planner where we're just sending ideas that we see throughout the day, something that
Yeah.
crazy that went on in the game, something on social media. I'm research, so a lot of my stuff is stats. So I'll send the best stats I see throughout the day. So then we'll come in Sunday morning at the 4 a.m. meeting and we'll discuss. We'll be like, what's something that has to make the show? What should we get on the show? And that
Yeah.
meeting will just be like me as a researcher. It'll be our producer, our associate producer, our coordinating producer, our graphics designers. They're the ones. So we're in charge of the graphics that you see, but we have other people that's in charge of that whole the lower thirds that you see. You know what I mean? Like when people are talking those little topic bars, we call those
Yeah.
graphics design or graphics producers. So they'll be on the meeting. I'm trying to think who else. The director will be on the meeting. So we'll just all go through all that stuff. So that's at 4 a.m. After that, the rundown will show all the graphics that's in the show. And a lot of the graphics will just be the graphics that of the notes that I sent previously and the graphics that we discussed in the 4 a.m. meeting. That I'm like, this got to get the show. They'll be
Hmm.
like, so the producer will be like, "Hey, we're discussing Cowboys Giants. What's the best graphic you got, Ryan?" And I'll be like, "Oh, this is the perfect one for that show." So then we'll discuss that at 4. So then that'll be the graphic that makes the show. So now after we're discussing everything, the 4 a.m. meeting's done. I'm going through the rundown. I'm seeing where all those graphics in, and now I'm making those graphics. I'm putting all those graphics together. So then we do that, and then 6 a.m. comes, and now we have the 6 a.m. meeting, and that's with all the people I previously discussed and the talent now. So now
Hmm.
it'll be um Greeny. I'm trying to think of his name, Mike Greenberg, who's the
Yeah.
host of the show. It'll be other talent that's on the show, Dan Orlovsky. Um, I'm trying to think who does
Oh,
Rex.
you work with Dan?
Yeah, yeah. Dan does the
Nice.
Wednesday shows.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know Dan?
No, not personally, but I like watching his content and things like
Yeah,
that.
he's great, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the best we got. So he used to do the Monday shows, but because he's doing Sunday night football a lot of the times now, or no,
Mhm.
he'll do Monday night football actually. So he'll just do the Wednesday shows now. No, he does the Thursday day shows because we have special guests on Thursday. So he does that show now. So who's ever on the meeting, Rex Ryan, Teddy Bruschi, we'll all discuss with them what stood out with y'all. And then we'll have our own rundown in place. And sometimes the talent, they'll say, oh, I want to discuss this. I want to discuss this. So now the producer, he's got to come in and rearrange the rundown a little bit to what the talent thinks fit. And now it's
Mhm.
kind of a push and pull. It's like, what do you think's best? What the talent thinks best? And Greeny is ultimately his show. He's the host. What he thinks best as well. So then we'll do that. If they want to, if they like a specific graphic, we'll put that in the show. If they're like, well, like Adam Schefter, he's on the Monday show, so he'll be like, I want to show the injury report for the Ravens. Okay, so now I'm going in, I'm making an injury report. Or Dano, he's a big stat guy. He's like, show the Eagles under center versus shotgun. Okay, now I'll go and make that graphic. So that's what the 6 a.m. meeting's all about. We'll do that. And 8 a.m. comes, we hit the show running. My job really is that all the hard work for me is done previously before the show. So when the show
Okay.
comes, I go to the control room and it's a little bit easy going. We have a VisOp person who puts all the graphics on the screen. So my
Hmm.
job really is I see them discussing a topic and I feel like it's about a certain graphic. Like let's say Dano, like the previous example, if he's discussing shotgun versus under center snaps, I'll tell the vids, I'm like, oh, he about to talk about it. Put this graphic on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So it just be things like that that I do throughout the show. And
Okay.
then, different show has their different nuances. Like before I worked on Get Up, I did the 2 p.m. Sports Center. And then
Mhm.
that one it was kind of just like the producer. They'll ask you for different things and then kind of the same similar format, just at 2 p.m. Um, and then you just have your different shows. We could work the halftime of show games. That's something that researcher does. Halftime of NBA, college football, college basketball, any sport. That's something that they'll do. All the sports centers, NBA Live, NBA Today. So researchers, they're in charge of all of those. Basically, what I said is what another researcher would do for all those different shows. And of course, there's nuances, there's different things that go into it. So that was a long version of the show version of the show of the job. Now we have another version of the job called the content version.
Mhm.
So basically, a lot of days you'll be on what we call content desk. And when you're on that, you'll get different assignments. So everybody is assigned a game, and you either could write the preview for the game or you write the recap of the game.
Okay.
So when you're doing the preview for the game, it's just you previewing. It's like kind of like what SIDs do for like for the colleges when they're going into a games, like you're writing the stats, you're writing something to look for during the games. And now different shows will take that content that you produce and they might use it like, let's say LeBron's playing the Heat tomorrow, and I'm on charge of the look ahead. All right, LeBron averages 34 against the Heat, best of any team of his career. So then Sports Center will take that note, and as they're previewing the game, they'll throw that note out there. They'll say, "Oh, LeBron's averaging 34." So like, if we're doing the 6 p.m. Sports Center, L. Duncan will take that note. LeBron's averaging 34 against the Heat, his most against any team in his career, and now she'll verbalize it. So that's kind of what the job is. You're basically producing that content for the shows and also for all of it. So it's more than just the shows when you're on. It's all across ESPN. Those stats you see on social media,
Yeah.
we come up with all of those, and then they'll use it. The bottom line, that's a whole department that we work alongside. They'll use the stats, social
Mhm.
media, shows, talent. So yeah, that's the long version basically.
Love that, man. No, that's cool. And when you were mentioning graphics, I saw that you posted something a couple weeks ago where it was like a tweet or something you put out and they shouted you out. It was on your story, but
hmm
I think was it on Get Up or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I know exactly what
It
you're
was like
talking
a
about.
Q&A thing or yeah.
Yeah. So every day we'll have if you people who watch Get Up, Sneaky Himbo. So
Hmm.
Himbo's a content producer on the show that's worked with Mike Greenberg, aka Greeny, for years now, dating back to you remember the show Mike and Mike? It was
Yes.
like yep.
Mhm.
So he used to work with him 10, 15 years back.
Okay.
Yep. So we have this segment called Sneaky Himbo where he'll basically pose a question to the talent. Usually it's different. It depends on the day, but on Mondays it's Rex. On the Fridays it's Peter Schrager. So it's just different days, whoever it depends.
Yeah.
So Green Himbo was out that day, so we did Sneaky Ryan. So I got to do a segment, and yeah, it was my first one. So no, that was really cool. That was crazy. So yeah, that was a great opportunity.
Nice, man. Congratulations. When I saw that, I was like, they're finally shouting my boy out. Let's get it. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy to see that. I'm happy to see that, man. That was
Yeah, no, that was a great moment for sure.
so the next thing I want to talk about is like conferences in a National Association of Black Journalists. I remember the sports symposium you mentioned in
Mhm.
Atlanta last
Yeah,
time we spoke, but we'll get to that part in a second. First off, I
yeah.
want to talk about NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. I understand that this summer was your first year doing it,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
I know that you had a big role, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Talk to me about it. What was that role like and what did it entail?
for
And
sure.
what was your whole experience like in Cleveland? And I keep telling myself, like, I wish I was there, but
Man.
I had to choose. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, tell me about it.
So yeah, this was my first national NABJ conference. I did the regional one in December, or no, in Washington D.C. That's where I met you at actually. Yeah. So I did the regional one. This was my first national one, and I was chosen to be an ambassador for ESPN. So we
Okay.
kind of just like you've been to NABJ, so you know, like those different job fairs and different things like that. We were chosen to work the ESPN booth. So
Okay.
basically, when people come over, they're like, "Hey, I'm interested in working." We kind of talk to them about it, talk to them about the different departments. As you know, a lot of people at NABJ they want to be on air talent. So I'm like, okay, here, let me introduce you to someone that's on air because we had a lot of sport, we had a lot of anchors there, we had a lot of analysts there. Or let me
Yeah.
introduce you to someone who's our on-air department director or things like that. Maybe he could point you in the right direction.
Hmm.
So that's the job fair version of the thing where we work in the booths. After that, we did coffee chats where we give select invites to people to where now they're all invited to it was like an ESPN ABC coffee chat. So then
Okay.
that's where we work the chat, like kind of same thing we do at the booth. We're kind of just talking to people, introducing them to people, telling them about how ESPN is. What else? ESPN did a lot. Right? They also had like they
Every
had
year
a
they do.
yeah, you already know. They had a dinner thing as well, so where we can give out tickets to people where we feel like would be a great fit for the company. Then we network with them at the dinner. Man, we did a lot. We did a lot. I'm trying to think of just everything. We had a summit to where a whole version of like basically our own little event thing where a bunch of analysts came up and we had different events and panels that people could come up to, and we had to work that, basically setting everything up for the panel. Um, Man, I'm just saying it was a lot, but no, it was my first NABJ. It was a great experience, bro. Like
Mhm.
I'm working, but at the same time, I'm still trying to meet people. And I was able to meet a lot of people, and make connections with them, and actually get them on my podcast as well. And I know we'll get into that later. I met Rob Parker, got to reconnect with people like as Brian Jones, got to meet a lot of ESPN talent as well. So it was a great experience, bro. I always recommend going to NABJ. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's in Cleveland. I ain't messing with that this year." And it's my first one, so it's like all of them are a lot of people to me. But apparently, this one was a little bit smaller. But it was like
I
it
heard.
can. Yeah, yeah, that's what they said. I'm like, this is my first one, so it was crazy to me. But yeah, people was like, "Nah, this one was a little bit smaller." But I was
Yeah.
like, "Mm-hmm,
Yeah. I think it's like you'll hear that from people who went last year in Chicago because Chicago was huge.
yeah,
Um,
that's what I heard."
only concern I had from that was they had the Lollapalooza concert
Yeah,
right in front of the host hotel, so no one
mm,
could drive on the street. I remember I had to walk everywhere. Uh, but we had some good talent, and I know like this summer they had First Take, right? They had the show.
yeah,
They had,
yeah.
so they
I
did
forgot
that
about that too. Yeah,
did that
so
last year, and then I don't think they did it in Birmingham was my first year. But that was I felt that too. What
yeah,
you told me about how like wow, this is mesmerizing. Like being here with people who look like me, trying to you know
yeah.
sell in this business, and I didn't realize. I mean, people say the news industry is very small, but it expands too. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say after Chicago, I felt like I already knew like so many people, but there were also
Mhm.
so many newcomers and so many
Oh
people.
yeah.
Every year I always meet somebody new. Uh,
Mhm.
but I want to touch on First Take.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did they have the show? I assume they had the show there, right? In the
Yep. Yep. So the show was at the conference. Basically the place where they held the conference at was connected with the hotel. So
okay.
they had the show there as well in one of the conferences, all conference room, huge conference stage and room. And the role for me with that was we had to set everything up. So that's the thing when you an ambassador is like, yeah, it's a lot of talking, but it's a lot of labor too. Like you setting the
Yeah.
booths up, you setting the panels up. You know what I'm saying? So we did a
Yeah.
lot of that. We set up the chairs, and then after that, when the show started, um, we're basically just making sure everything's good. Making sure everybody's seated. That's the thing too. Is like the camera is like it was like it's hard to explain, but it's a lot going on when you're setting up a stage. So we gotta make sure the camera's in the right place where the camera can get the crowd as well as the stage, where no one's blocking the camera, things like that. So by the time the conference came, or by the time the show started, it was just a great experience, man. It's like a family reunion. They did a lot with the crowd. A lot of people that are Roden fellows fellowship. They were able to speak, and they had a whole segment, which was crazy. They did a similar thing. You know, they went to Alabama State yesterday, so they got to
Yes,
do a
I
lot
saw
of.
that. And they had
Yep.
Cam out there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
First Take's good about that. I know they're going to Delaware State next month, and they're going to another HBCU as well. So no, it's I think that's I'm not sure who the idea that is, but man, it's a great. It's I love it.
Did they do the towel thing as well?
Yeah, yeah. First Take, you get your little First Take towels, and yeah, people are doing this. Yeah, yeah. It was a great experience.
Yeah, that was great. I have to find mine. I think I lost it, but
Yeah.
find it somewhere. Um, so the sports symposium in Atlanta, what was it
Mhm.
actually? First off, before I even ask about it, what was it called? Because last time we spoke, I think you asked if I was part of it, but I wasn't.
Mhm.
I've seen other people who were part of it that are also doing. I know Miles Johnson was part of it, and then maybe
Wow, I just met Miles like a
uh,
couple. That's funny you brought him up. Yeah, I met him at Rob Parker's at his thing. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. I know he was part of it, and then I think Chauncey Sanders. Uh,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
you might have seen him before.
Yeah, yeah, I know him.
I know
Yeah.
he's with the collaborative. So
Hmm.
I think he was actually at Alabama State
Wow.
with the for the first take thing, and he was
Yeah.
teaching Stephen A. If I'm not mistaken, because I saw he put that up too.
No.
Well, talk to me about the sports symposium, the Atlanta Sports Symposium. Is it
Yeah.
similar to what you did with ESPN and NABJ or?
Yeah, so the Black Sports Symposium, I went to the 2024 one in Atlanta, which was
Mhm.
man, that was a great time. I love that. That was my first time in Atlanta. So I was like, yo, this I loved Atlanta. I was like, I might have to live here one day. But the Black Sports Symposium, that was actually my first conference ever. So that was crazy to go to. Um and yeah, it was I guess you could say it was the thing about the Black Sports Symposium, which I love so much, is strictly sports media. So
Mhm.
that's it sounds. So it was we had a lot of people there, man. Taylor Rooks was there. Um
Oh,
I'm just trying to think of everybody. Taylor Rooks was there. NABJ had a lot of people too though, but Taylor Rooks was there. Um Steve Mariucci was there. Steve
okay.
Rich, the dude who's on NFL Network was there named Steve. They had a bunch of people there. So the
Yeah.
thing about that was it was at the Atlanta Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that's
Mhm.
where they held the conference, and it was a lot of ESPN folks there, as you can imagine. So I'm meeting people that work at the same department as me, not department, same company as me that I never even knew. Because ESPN's so big, so it's like we got people
Yeah.
from the LA campus, the Bristol campus,
All over
North
the country.
Carolina. Yeah, yeah. So it was good just meeting them, connecting with everybody. Um, and I believe the Black Sports Business Conference this past year was in DC, but it was at the same time as NABJ. So if it was a
I
different
think I
time,
remember that.
yeah, I would have attended both of them if I could, but I'm like, it's
Mhm.
at the same time as NABJ. I'm an ambassador. I got to go to NABJ.
Yeah.
But no, the Black Sports Business, it was great, man. Like you said, it was just the only difference between that and NABJ is just it's sports related, so it's more attractive to me as being someone in sports media. But I
Mhm.
loved NABJ as well, and I didn't work this one. I was just able to more so network, meet different people. So yeah,
Yep.
that was a great experience as well.
So we mentioned Rob Parker a few times, and
Mhm.
probably get to that next. What was that event for? I mean, was it? I probably didn't pay attention to it much, but I saw it all over. I mean, I saw a lot of fellow journalists who were there, fellow sports
Mhm.
journalists who were there. What was that for?
So yeah, Rob is yeah. Have you met Rob? Rob,
I
yeah.
did meet Rob. Yeah, I met him. I met him in Chicago last summer
Wow.
for NABJ at one of the ESPN things. Great guy,
Yeah.
funny. We had a drink together, spoke a little bit. Um, and he's one thing I really like about Rob is he's just always like in the moment. And I love how I don't want to say aura farms, but he brings the crowd together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's a man of the
and
people.
not much. Yeah, he's good people. He's just good to be around, and he's always gonna keep it real with you,
For
and
sure.
and we always need people like that.
For
Uh,
sure.
but
So
yeah.
yeah, like you said, basically what you said is how everybody talks about Rob.
Mhm.
I remember going into NABJ, and my friend, do you know we keep name dropping people? My
Please
friend
tell me.
Dylan Bruton. I think you met him at the. I think yeah, you met. I'm introduced
Yeah,
you to him at
Dylan.
the
Yeah,
UC. Yeah.
I
So he
remember.
was like, he was like, you got to meet Rob, bro, when you go to NABJ. He's like, he's a real brother. He's gonna look out for you, bro. He's gonna network you. He's gonna put you in positions. He's like, you got to meet Rob when you go up there. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, bet. So then I go up to NABJ and I was just walking around and I seen Rob and he was actually talking to somebody else that I know. His name's Johnny Hill. He just started the ESPN Next program. So I was kind of helping
Right.
Johnny out and things like that. So then I see Johnny. I'm like, what's good, bro? And he's like, I gotta introduce you to Rob. I'm like, shoot, you the second person who told me that. I'm like, all right, let's. So then I met Rob. Man, he's like, what's good? What's good, brother? What's good with you? How you know where you from? What you do? And then we just started hitting it off. He's like, let me give you my phone number. Let's connect. Off the rip like that. I'm like, wow. I was like, okay, say
That's
less.
how, yeah.
So then I
Yeah.
met him later that night at the bar, at the hotel. We chopping it up. We hitting it off again. And then I just seen him, as you know, when you at NAB, you just keep seeing the same people over and over again. So
Hmm.
like every time we pass by, we say what's up. And I told him, I was like, yo, I got to get you on my podcast. And then he's like, let's do it. So then NABJ ended. I think I called him a few days after that. And then we just chopped it up again some more. And then he was like, I'm actually coming up there to Connecticut. Apparently, I didn't even know this. He went to Connecticut State University. And then,
Okay.
yeah. And
Uh,
huh?
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I had no
Well,
idea
yeah.
either. I was like, wow. And then he's like, basically the whole event was they're naming a section in the stadium after him. So they're
Okay.
naming what's some things called? Some little box things you stay at. Um,
Not the
a
podium.
suite. They're naming a suite after him. Is what I want to say.
Oh,
I think that's
nice.
it. Yep. They're naming a suite after him in the
Okay.
stadium. So then he was like, I'm coming up there. I would love for you to come up there. So basically, he had his suite naming, and then afterwards, he had an event at a restaurant. And like you said, it was. I invited some people. I brought my homeboy Kalan with me. I met
Mhm.
Miles there, and then Johnny was there as well. It was just a whole bunch of people in the industry that all had the same story. Like, nah, Rob looked out for me with this. Rob.
Yeah.
He called me with this. It was somebody we met there. We like, how you know Rob? He's like, man, I used to tune into his radio show and I would call, the people who call the
Yeah.
radio station. He's like, I would
Mhm.
call the radio news. And me and him hit it off. And he was like, when he told me to follow him on Twitter. And next thing you know, bro, I'm coming to all his events, bro. He spoke at this. I'm like, wow, like you said, he's just
Yeah.
a man of the people, bro. Like if it's any way to connect
That's,
with you, he gonna connect with you. And that's what it was, bro. It was like it was
mhm.
crazy. It was so many people there, and they was all there for Rob. And I know he loved it. It was a great moment. Chris Broussard was there. It was
Oh, okay.
crazy. Yeah. It was a great. It was a great moment for sure.
Yeah, he definitely is a man of the people.
Mm.
I just remember I actually met him in Birmingham, not just in Chicago. But in Chicago, we chatted longer. In Birmingham, everybody was crowding around him, things like that. But it was more, what's the word I'm looking for? It was more like a private conversation. There's probably a better,
Yeah,
but
more intimate. Yeah,
intimate. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but he's great people. And I'm glad that we have people like him in this
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
We can't, you and I both know we can't have too many gatekeepers and
Oh yeah.
lead to disaster.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
so so you and I heard this week about some gambling instances with the NBA.
Uh
How do you
huh.
guys, and not just with that story in particular, how do you guys really go about breaking that story? I know you told me that someone else broke the story, but how do you guys present that in a way that you're allowed to, if that makes
Yeah. So my knowledge, yeah, Shams Charania broke the story, an ESPN reporter. But as far as research, as far as our job, if any like in any position when breaking news is broke on a show, it's our job is okay, let's get as much information as we can on this.
yeah.
So a lot of I'm sick because I didn't they broke it on Get Up on a Tuesday and I think I was off on Tuesday because
Hmm.
usually I work the Tuesday shows. I'm like, dang, I wasn't there for that. But usually, sometimes a lot of the time though, we do get, so I'm glad we do get news. Like we hear a little, of whispers in the run, like Shams might call us or somebody might call us like, hey, it's a big NBA gambling story. They might not even say gambling, but they might just say it's a big NBA scandal that's going to come down the pipeline today. Just be ready for it. And then we're like, okay, so we really don't know what to do with that. It's like it depends on how, like I said, I wasn't there that day, but like I'll give you another example. I was the KD got a big contract extension this past Sunday with the
Mhm.
Rockets, and I was on the 9 a.m. Sports Center. So that
Mhm.
morning, we are like, big K news. The producer was telling me, hey, big KD news, Ryan coming down the pipeline. Just be ready to build any KD graphic that you see. What's the best note on KD? Let's just get some stuff ready for him. So that's generally how breaking news works. But sometimes it just come out of nowhere. I think I was working when the Michael Parsons news broke. We didn't have no whispers of
That
that.
was huge.
Yeah, we knew Michael was. We did hear. So Schefter broke that he might get traded, but we didn't know to
Mhm.
the Packers. I think it was some rumblings out there. Okay, the Packers are interested, but generally we had no. Basically, we didn't know it was going to be that show, and it was on the two. I was working at 2 p.m. Sports Center at that time, and
Mhm.
then that news broke. It was just fire sale. Like basically that whole rundown is shut down. Like we're not
Yeah.
doing the rundown no more. This show is about Michael Parsons now. And we're getting all the graphics that we can on him. We getting all the notes we can on him. And it's just basically like you making graphics like a madman. You just making stuff, making stuff, making stuff, making stuff. So that's just kind of how breaking news is. Some stuff we get down the pipeline, some stuff just hit us. So in that situation, that's a good reminder. It's live TV. So it could be high intense, it could be high stressful if you take it that way, or it could just be you just gotta work fast,
Other things.
Yeah, just be ready. Just be ready. Luckily, I've been in enough situations now to where I'm comfortable in that situation. But it's just like you just gotta be ready. You gotta move fast.
Hmm. No, I certainly agree. I mean, just working in news as a whole, you can have a whole rundown prepared
Mhm.
for the next hour, but if something breaks, that's no longer the priority.
Yep.
And I feel like, and especially from as an MMJ myself, I know that I have to be prepared to make those quick changes. And producers
Yeah.
do the same thing too. I've seen producers
Yep.
on my old gig do that, and I've seen it all play out. And it may look like a lot, but as long as you know, like as long as you keep a level head and you know
Yep.
the direction you're heading towards, everything will just go smoothly, man. And it looks,
Yep.
yeah. Um, so a couple more things before I let you go.
Mm.
And I meant to ask this about when we were talking about the conferences and conventions. Why do you think
Mm.
it's important to have those? And not just for people who look like us, but just as a whole for young journalists who aspire to elevate to the network level.
Man, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that back up because I was on about the Rob thing. Like that's where people think these, like you said, you can't just apply and just walk off and be like, oh, I did my job for the day. Like, nah, you gotta get in. Like, it's really about connections.
Yeah,
Like,
boy.
connections go way further than resumes. Like, and I'm just keeping it a buck. You can be the most qualified, you can be the most talented person. If you not boots on the ground, meeting people, connecting with people, it don't mean nothing. It ain't even gotta be you getting in their face. Like it could be emails. Like I said with my LinkedIn job, I had the same resume for 6 months, couldn't get an interview. Now I DM Lynn Matthews or ESPN recruiter. She gets me in the door. You know what I'm
Every-
saying? It's like this is what the conferences are about, and it's so many people. The ESPN Next program, the internship we have, having them people got these jobs through the conferences. I
Mhm.
met the dude. It was the ticket. The dude I met through a ticket. I just got him a job because I gave him the ticket. I introduced him to the right people, and now he's about to start his program this summer. So it's like that's what it comes down to. It's like you gotta be in these people's faces, and it's not. This is what I tell people. It's like it's a working relationship. It's not you meet them. Hey, my name Ryan. Can you give me a job? Like no, it's not, you gotta. You
No,
gotta. Yeah, that is not
you
how
have to
it
build.
works. You
You have to
gotta
build.
people know when you just want something. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They're not gonna give you. You know how many people keep coming up to you? Oh, hey, my name. Can I get a job? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's you got to work the relationship. So it's like you might meet them at this conference. You get their information. You give them an email. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Now you got their stuff, and now just check in with them when it's a holiday. Hey, Merry Christmas. Hope everything good with you. Just want to stay on your radar. When it's their birthday, hey, happy birthday, man. Just want to stay.
Yeah.
It's little
The
things
little
like
things,
that.
the little
Yeah.
things. It's the
Mm-hmm.
little things. It is
Yep.
the little things. And I like to preach about that all the time too. I mean, my method is always email because it's
Mm-hmm.
professional and it helps you stand out. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
two things. And I don't really see, I want to see more of that, honestly.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, like, hey, Jalen, how, like, I mean, even with my previous gigs, like, oh, Jalen, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I tell them exactly what you just told me. You have to be in the face. You can't just be, it's almost like when you walk into a room every day or you walk into the kitchen every day and you see your toaster, right? You walk
Mm-hmm.
in one day and then it's not there. Well, something's changed.
Yeah.
You have to find that change. I know that was a crazy analogy, but
Now I get what you're
you
saying.
have to find that change. How can you separate yourself from everybody else getting the jobs? When you apply for a job on LinkedIn, you see, oh, plus over 100 people applied for this. Do you think HR is going to look at all those resumes?
Nope.
Even if they do look at it, do you think it's going to be a person? Well, I don't know.
We
They,
don't know these days. I heard AI, and
that's what I
I'm
was going to
glad
say.
you
They
brought
put
that
it in the
up.
computer.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the
They looking
computer.
for
They see,
keywords now. Yep,
mhm.
great point that you brought up. They look my bad. They looking for keywords. AI is so a lot of these jobs is running AI, and then if you don't have these keywords on your resume that they're looking for, it's eliminated. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying AI is hiring people, but they're doing the elimination. Like you said, it's 500 people applying. AI is eliminating that first three, 400. Now
Yeah.
that the employer just looks at 1 or 200, if that. I don't even think they looking at that. But yeah, it's like you said, man. It's and you can't just apply online and turn your
Mhm.
computer down and think you good. Like you gotta put boots on the ground. You gotta really connect with these people.
A recruiter once told me if there's a real person looking at your resume, it's only for about 6 to 8 seconds.
I believe that.
Matter of fact, they just kind of look at how it's presented, maybe the format, and then just kind of skim through. They skim through keywords, but they also skim through like anything that stands out as opposed to. But anyways, I say that to say, out of those hundreds of people who are applying for the job, how many of them are emailing HR or anybody that's worked there? How many of them are having conversations like you said? How many of them are not just being like, "Hey, I'm Ryan. Can you give me a job?" That's not how it works. You have to build that
Not at all.
relationship because it takes you so far. I mean, I've made a lot of relationships in DC that has really got me into places that I didn't think I could, but it's
Yeah.
not because I asked these people for a job. It's just
No.
because they see how they see that you want something, but they don't see that you're desperate. They just know how serious you are about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always been a model that I've stuck to for a while. So
Yeah, when you approach these people at these networking, it's not about. That's why it's always good to have a job when you go to these things. But
yeah.
it's about coming to them as a friend or a relationship, not a job. Like when I network with people, I just try to talk to them. I don't try to say I need this or can we work this. I just try to
Nope.
talk to them and then get their information, get their LinkedIn, get their email. Now we nurture that over time. Over time, check in with you. You know what I'm saying? I see you. I'm congratulating you. They might get married, they might get a promotion. Hey, congratulations, bro. Same, you know what I'm saying? Just nurture the relationship.
Even if you haven't met them in person yet, but then whenever you do, it's
Yeah.
like, wow, like you
Yeah.
probably been connected with them through the internet
Mm-hmm.
and social media for years, but then whenever
Yep.
you see them in person, I mean, like you and I too.
Mm-hmm.
So
That happens all the time. All the time.
it's just stuff like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it takes you a long way.
Mm-hmm. No,
Uh,
yeah, I'm glad you brought. Yeah, the internet is a good one too. Like you don't have to know. You know how many people that I met, even at Rob thing, even at the DC conference. That's how I met you at NABJ. It's like people came. I've been following you for years, bro, and
yeah.
I'm like, damn, this crazy. Like, dog, you said that
You
happens
already know
all
that.
the time. This is
Yeah,
small, like you said. It's not a small world, but it is a small world, kinda too. You know what I'm saying? It goes hand in hand.
it's expanding. It's
Yeah.
definitely expanding, and I want to say like when you're looking. through the internet, it's very small because you probably know a lot of people that I don't think that we have a mutual connection with, or something like,
Mhm,
or vice versa. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So you probably met some people at these conferences, conventions that I might know that I haven't met in person yet.
mhm.
So that's really how I'm seeing it all work and come into play.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
Ryan, one last thing before I let you go. What are your future aspirations while at ESPN? Where do you see the business going? What direction do you see it heading towards? I'm sorry. What direction do you see it heading towards? We might have already touched on that, but I want to know more about what impact you want to have during your time at ESPN and moving forward.
For sure, bro. You know, my aspirations, like I said, I'm still behind the scenes right now. I'm still trying to get in front of that camera. Still trying to just bring a new flavor to the camera that maybe seen, but not on the national level. Like you said, I know you're still trying to do the same thing. Just sports media and just in that bringing someone who's just young, who can have a different perspective, that's not afraid to say different things. Now, that's not saying say a hot take just to say a hot take and go viral. But I do think in sports media, I do think we need just a new perspective on things. Like someone that's not like it might be different for different sports, but just NBA coverage in particular, I feel like the players get attacked a lot and things like that. It's like let's bring a new perspective. Not everything's the players' fault. You know, let's look at it from the top down sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, Behind the scenes, it's a few things I'm still working on because right now I am behind the scenes. So, like you
Mhm.
said, I'm a God fearing man. When God gives you something, you got to be the best steward of that. Even if you might have bigger aspirations in mind, take care of where you at or what you got, what God gave you a steward to.
For
So,
sure.
I'm researching right now. That role is forever developing, and we'll just see where it takes me. Now as far as just where I think the business is going, I feel like, you know, these days, this is what I tell people: you don't have to go to school for 20 years, put in the work as a columnist now. You can turn that computer on, turn that camera on at your house, record yourself, and you gone out of there. Now you gotta
Yeah.
stay consistent. You know, that's what I tell you about consistency. You gotta stay consistent, you gotta
Mhm.
grind, you gotta actually have something to say and something to tune and make people tune in. But these days, you don't gotta be a beat reporter for 20 years. You don't gotta be a columnist. You don't got to work for news. And,
Yeah.
it's Kenny Belcham. He's a good example. He's been around, but NBC just gave him a spot on a new because they just got the NBA rights. So
Mhm.
now he's doing stuff for NBC now, and he did this all from just starting his own podcast. So it's just like what I tell people is like NBA, the TV rights is not going away. Like you just saw 3, 4 network. Prime TV got something now. They do got NBA games now. NBC
Yeah.
got NBA games now, and a bunch of people just got hired. It's like the jobs are gonna forever be created. Now it might transition. It might go from TV and broadcast now streaming, but at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. So it's like the jobs aren't getting eliminated. It's just getting funneled to something else. So
Just
as
change.
long as yeah, it's just changing. It's still
Modify.
jobs out there. It's just like you said, it's changing to something else. So as long as the thing is, just make yourself available. Find that niche. Like it was I went to I watched another panel a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and it was Terica. I think her last name is Bailey. She's basically like a WNBA sports beats writer, and she was talking about how she did WNBA for ESPN, and she was kind of part time, almost what's that called when they just hire you for a certain like I want to say almost free uh dang, I can't think right now. Um, Basically, they would just bring her in whenever they needed to. Like she wasn't
Okay.
employed for ESPN, but they would just
Mhm.
bring her in. Freelance. Damn, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
So they would just bring her on as a freelance reporter, kind of. And then she was just doing that for years and years and years. And then as the WNBA is picked up, CBS just got the WNBA rights to do some certain games, broadcast certain games. She just got hired full time at CBS, I believe. It might have been another station as their WNBA reporter. So it's like find your niche and go hard in that niche. And then now you look up, you're the top 3, top 4 WNBA reporters, and WNBA is a huge sport right now. You're in
Is
position to get a job. Same thing. It's like what I tell people when like you said, Miles is a good example because he goes hard on the Eagles. Like he's a big Eagles guy. So now you
Oh yeah,
look up, what if the Eagles need a reporter? What if the Eagles need somebody to do some social media stuff for them? He's right in line. He's one of the biggest Eagles personalities out on the internet right now. And he
yeah,
just started all that just from doing his podcast, just doing clips on it. So it's just like that's the way to go. Find your niche, go as hard as you can in it, and you'll look up. And it's not gonna happen right away. That's why people gotta be consistent. They gotta see the longer vision. And then it's like you look up and it's like, oh wow, I'm getting hired for this position. It's kind of like at your job too. Like you don't start at your job like obviously you want to get a promotion, but you can't just look at it like you can't just come into your job or whatever and be like, I don't like this position. I'm going for the next position. Nah, you go as hard as you
yeah.
can and
You
what you
gotta,
got right now, and then eventually you'll look up when it's promotion time. It's like I'm better. I'm a better choice than him. It's got to be. You're the obvious choice now.
you
So
have
it's
to,
like you got to look at it like that, yo.
you have to know for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
And you basically, and I know I said that was my last question, but you did answer my last question about like, is that what you would, is that a message that you want to give to younger journalists who aspire to work for jobs like, I'm sorry, networks like ESPN and just how to grow?
The stuff I'll give the younger journalists is like, cause it's like be patient. That's the first thing I'll tell somebody. I know that's the last thing anybody want to hear because I remember I was in that position one day, and I'm still practicing patience to this day. But it's just like
You and me both.
stay, huh?
You and me
Yeah,
both.
yeah, exactly, bro. It's like stay patient and where you at, and go and be a good steward. Like another biblical reference. Like David was a sheep herder, remember? And he was just tending to his sheep. And he thought that was going what he was gonna be his whole life. And then those people came down, they came to David's dad. There was like, hey, we want to make I'm trying to remember this. Basically, we want to make one of them king or have one of them in our a high government position. And then God, he gave them all David's brothers, and then they were like, nah, and then God was like, no, I want you to choose David. It's like go as hard as you can in position, tend as hard as you can to your sheep, tend as hard as you can to position that you in, and then one day you'll look up, it's like you didn't even ask for it. Okay, it's time for you to come and do this. It's time for you to come and do that. If you're a local reporter, go as hard as you can on your local reporting, is the city that you got, and one day you're gonna get called up for national. You know what I'm saying? If you do a podcast, go as hard as you can in your local podcast or whatever podcast you're doing, and one day you might call it up to do an NBA podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I just tell people stay patient, go as hard as you can in the position that you got, and then the rest will figure it out itself. But you got to put I ain't gonna say that too. That's what I tell people too. Is like be hungry. Know when to be hungry too. I'll give that advice too. Is like don't you can't. I know people be like, oh, okay, just work as hard as you can, and though no, the squeaky wheel got to get the wheel too though.
Everybody will tell you that.
Yep. Don't be
That's,
afraid to ask for stuff. Don't be afraid to put your name out there to shoot your shot. But no, it's you, and you'll notice as you get older, and everybody like you'll know when to choose your spots. But I be telling that people too, nah, don't be afraid to ask for opportunities. Don't be afraid to get out there. Like I tell people at the conferences, they're like, when should I approach somebody? I'm like, always, always shoot your shot. Like I'm not saying, but know when to
they're,
approach them. Don't approach
they're
like, can
human
I
like
get the
you.
shot?
They're a human just like you. Just
Yup,
approach them.
yup,
Just, hey, from the half.
yup,
That's it.
exactly.
That's
Yup, and exactly. And don't be like, oh, can I get a job? No, just, yo, what's your name? I've been watching you for however long. You mind if I exchange information with things like that? You know what I'm saying? Just normal stuff.
yeah.
But it's like, yeah, always shoot your shot. Always put yourself in position. Don't be afraid to ask and things like that is what I would tell people.
Patience is virtue and it creates opportunity. I love that, man.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for your time, Ryan. It
Sure, man.
was a phenomenal conversation, very educational and insightful. And as always, brother, I just appreciate you and thank you for all you do.
Yes, sir, brother. Glad I could come on your podcast, bro. Continue blessing to you, bro. I know you doing your thing, bro. Congratulations on a promotion. Or no,
Thank
not even promotion. You on a whole congratulations on the new job,
you.
being in Virginia and getting on air and all of that, bro. And like you said, we speaking on experience. We was all in that position, and we slowly coming up now. So God is good, bro.
Amen. He is indeed. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
sir, bro. Take care.
All right. Have a good evening.